In this video, I'm going to explain how Brett Malinowski is scaling Wop to a $1 billion valuation. So in this video, we're going to break down the exact 8-figure funnel that him and the rest of the team are using to scale to that $1 billion mark, the organic content strategy that they're implementing in order to get users onto the platform on autopilot, exactly how they're establishing omnipresence in their niche and ultimately conquering market share in the online community or online course seller space. So one important thing to note is that Brett is not actually the owner of Wop. He may have equity in it, but he's just the head of marketing and head of affiliates. So whilst this video is partly about him, and I will also go into his coaching business, it's actually about a business that he doesn't own. So broadly speaking, Brett is using an educator funnel, which is built upon 3 pillars. First, attracting leads into the funnel, then educating those leads on his SaaS product, and converting those leads either to users on Wop or alternatively to his coaching business, which is how to build a SaaS product. So when it comes to educating leads, there are 3 main channels that Brett leverages. First is Twitter or X, second Instagram, and third YouTube. So on X, Brett has his own personal account with 181k followers that he uses to market Wop through organic content and reposts, which is exactly what makes X unique for Wop and other SaaS businesses compared to things like Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, is that you can so easily leverage someone else's post with a simple repost in order to capture parts of their niche or their market. So with his organic content, it's broadly divided into 2 pillars: promo content, where he talks directly about what's going on at Wop, and podcast content, which is where he will feature some of his YouTube videos or clips from his YouTube videos on his Twitter. And in this case specifically, he's giving limelight to the founders, which if you aren't familiar are Stephen Schwartz, Cameron, and Sharky. Now, as a SaaS owner or the owner of a coaching business, you will hopefully already understand the power of being founder-led. Basically what that means is having the founders build their own personal brands, but not necessarily associated too heavily with the actual SaaS. But building trust, especially with existing customers, can be really, really powerful. In terms of reposts, you can see some examples here where he's sharing wins from people that are working with Wop and a highlight reel of some of their best clients in 2024. So the content pillars here really fall under reviews and testimonials, Wop content directly, and updates to the platform. And both of these channels will funnel into YouTube either directly or indirectly. Now also on the X side is the Wop account itself with 70k followers. Now as you can see from some of the content posts here, it's more focused around building a community or a sense of identity. You can see here they're making a joke out of Christian Bonnier, who if you don't know is one of the founders of Client Ascension and Listkit, who ended up visiting them in their office. You can see here this is plain and simple social proof of what people are achieving on Wop, and here they're effectively posting a meme. Now the reason that they're doing this is to build both relatability and showcase wins simultaneously. They know exactly the target market that they're really going for, which is those people building businesses online who are more likely to be younger and certainly fall into these kinds of buckets in terms of their sense of humor and their goals. So the Wop account does have an established identity that seems to match that not only of Brett and the founders, but also of the top users and the top money makers on Wop. And when people feel like their identity is mirrored in the content, they will become a follower and eventually be led again into the long form YouTube content. So through this content funnel, they end up in a content ecosystem where they're constantly recycled and fed new content due to the algorithm. In that content, they will learn something and or it will give them some dopamine. You also get dopamine for just learning something that might benefit you in business, and that causes them to engage further. And so you create this positive feedback loop until eventually they start viewing case studies and hopping over to other channels. When it comes to Instagram, Brett has 22k followers, but he's not particularly active on Instagram. So these are pretty much all of his posts that he has, but mainly this acts as a funnel back to YouTube. In fact, most of the shorts on here or the reels on here are from his YouTube videos. Now the Wop Instagram account with 8,000 followers is slightly different, but overall it's still just clipping things from their long form YouTube. And of course people can travel back and forth between these accounts. Now one of the strongest marketing tactics that Wop uses in order to convert people into at least interested, so to educate them, as we saw here, is to leverage their competitor weaknesses. So one of the things that Wop mentions a lot is the average earnings of someone either selling courses or selling community membership on Wop is around $7,000 to $8,000 per month. And as you may know, if you follow School, which is obviously one of their main competitors, the general stat that School will use is that 50% of people make their first dollar online. So which of those sounds more attractive to you in the way that it's framed? $8,000 or $1? So that's one of the ways that Wop can leverage competitor weaknesses, and they do it in other ways too, which I'm sure we'll get into in a second. So that's basically all of the short form content, but what actually is the purpose of this at a high level? At least from Brett's perspective, you're trying to get everyone into the YouTube funnel. So let's break that down as well. With YouTube, that's his biggest channel with 477k subscribers. It's probably where you all know him from if you're watching this video. Now, he actually neglects YouTube Shorts for the most part, which is odd because it seems to work really well for many of the users on Wop, but for whatever reason, he doesn't use it. Now, as you may have noticed over basically the last 12 to 24 months, most, if not all of his content is actually podcast focused. So although they don't get too many views for the most part, the quality of the audience is going to be extremely high, because if someone just spends a single hour with you on your channel, they feel like they know you, they like you, and they trust you. And so the people, especially watching things like the Wop podcast with Stephen Schwartz, the founder, those people are going to become extremely high intent in a very short amount of time. And the same can be said for a lot of these videos too. As mentioned, there are really two separate endpoints for this funnel. It's either going into the Wop funnel or it's going to Brett's coaching business. So I'll break that down very quickly, but it's honestly extremely simple. One of the most simple funnels that we've seen on this channel. So the WGMI Academy, which is where he teaches how to build SaaS, especially with no code, and create a productized agency. This is all linked in the description of his most recent YouTube videos, and it leads to a very simple VSL funnel. So the way that this looks is you have your headline, sub-headline, the VSL, and the CTA. And this is built on Webflow for those of you interested. Now, if you'd like a full breakdown of the sales page, this is a free resource that I have, so I'll link the board somewhere in the description, and you can get access to this free resource, which breaks down Andy Elliott's sales page anatomy for his business, which is pretty much followed to a T by Brett here as well. So that membership is $197 per year, which is honestly really dirt cheap. And then one of the best conversion mechanisms that I've seen on a course/community channel in order to convert people into paying customers is giving them access to free videos. So Jeremy Haynes actually does this. If you're not familiar with him, he helps people scale $2 million a month. He also does this with his Master Internet Marketing course, where he will give out the first week of the 7-week course for free. So Brett's leveraging this tactic in order to get people to buy in to the training videos, to the academy, learn as much as they can, and then once they see how good the value is from the free stuff, then they're much more likely to convert to the paid. Not only for him, but for anyone watching this who I know will be either running a coaching business or selling courses or info of some sort. This is an extremely effective way that you can leverage your existing paid material to get more customers in the door. Now, when it comes to the Wop funnel, majority of the traffic is coming either from Twitter, as we saw here, or from Brett's YouTube. So that will lead to the Wop YouTube channel, which is currently at 34 to 35k subscribers, but is growing very rapidly. You can see it's actually only been operating for around 3 months, and the engagement on their videos is super high. Now, the difference between Wop's channel and, for example, Brett's is that these videos are not actually there to educate you. These videos, again, act as a conversion mechanism, as we looked at here. If you're a perceptive person, you would have realized that these videos are not for entertainment, and they're not necessarily for views. They are actually case studies for Wop and the Wop platform. Now imagine in your business, if you were able to get 500k views on a case study, or if you were able to get 241k views on a case study of your SaaS. This is absolutely an effective play for anyone who's selling SaaS or info, is making movies out of your case studies. So this is pretty much headed up by Austin Georgius. Hope I pronounced that right. But he's basically the content creator, or one of the content creators at Wop. I'm sure there are others too. I personally have never seen something to this level of production when it comes to case studies. In fact, these simultaneously act as conversion mechanisms and magnets for new traffic. And so that is another example of how Wop leverages their competitor weaknesses. Now, another way that they bring people into the Wop funnel is through the View Rewards program. The idea behind this basically is that people create Wop clips. So these are just basic short form clips that people have created from other creators' content that are on Wop, and they get paid out for the views that they get. Now, as Brett himself explained, this is actually 25 times cheaper than Meta because Wop only needs to pay someone $1 per 1,000 views that they get. It's extremely cheap and effective organic marketing that people like Wop and the creators on Wop are able to leverage in order to get the most people as possible either into the funnel through affiliate links or directly to their paid products. See this mostly on things like YouTube Shorts, but also TikTok, Instagram, etc. So once people are fully into the Wop funnel, and the VSL funnel itself will repeat. So funnily enough, Brett is clearly a fan of it because he's used it twice, one for his coaching side and one for the SaaS side. And I'd honestly recommend that you guys do the same. Now, as you can see, I mentioned this earlier, the average creator on Wop makes $7,382 per month. So again, they're leveraging schools' weaknesses as well as perhaps Discord's weaknesses by focusing on the outcome rather than the features. And this is most effective because it focuses immediately on the outcome of the users of Wop rather than the features. And you got some great social proof here as well. So this initial landing page also has you join Wop University, obviously for free, so that you can learn how to make your first 10K on Wop. Now, the benefits of educating people on your SaaS or on your coaching offer is because you're much more likely to get people results, which they will share through social media, but we'll get into this mechanism in a second. Wop University also leads to a competition where if you make 3K in your first 30 days, you get your Wop on a Times Square billboard, which is just fantastic, and an exclusive invite to an event at Wop HQ. Now, why do this? What is the point of this when it comes to marketing a SaaS? Well, the primary benefit is that Wop aren't only paying for your community or your course to be advertised, but they're also paying for their own marketing. So two people are winning in this situation. It's mutually beneficial because when Wop puts your brand and your community on that Times Square billboard, they also make money from that because other people that see that are going to think, wow, that person did well through Wop, I should try it. Or at the very least, they're going to enter the top of the funnel and look up what Wop actually is, and they're going to end up here. So as said, it builds so much social proof. It shows that Wop is for winners, and it's remarkable. So Stephen Bartlett, if you're not familiar, from Dragon's Den in the UK, which is like the Shark Tank equivalent, and also obviously the host of the Diary of a CEO. Stephen Bartlett is very keen on remarkability or being unique. So having something about you or your brand that makes people remember you. So for him, when he was like 2021, he bought some crazy slide and put it in his office, and he became known as that marketing agency guy that had a slide in his office. And so this is one of the mechanisms that Wop is able to not only build social proof and encourage people to actually sign up to the platform and get results, but it's also a way for them to become more remarkable. So for the SaaS owners or the coaching business owners out there watching this, this is a fantastic and cost-effective way to position yourself as different from all of the other people in the market. And of course, that will funnel more traffic back into the Wop funnel. So as I mentioned, when people get success and they share it on YouTube, Instagram, X or TikTok, one of the key mechanisms, and this is of course the Go High Level model too, that Wop uses is affiliates. So you can see them all over YouTube. Basically every video on Wop that isn't by Wop or Brett is an affiliate link, and that will directly of course lead to more traffic going into the Wop funnel, but also build significant social proof. So when people actually make these videos saying how good Wop is, it leads to what we call zero cost omnipresence. Wop has not had to pay upfront for any of this. They will only have to pay these affiliates when they get more paying users. And so again, they've created a mutually beneficial win-win situation. And of course, it's the same way that Go High Level operates. So through this omnipresence strategy, one of the most important parts of it is that they're able to leverage their successes and push them into other markets organically. And of course, organic marketing builds significantly more trust than if they were just using paid ads to force themselves into that market. So I've got a few examples here, but this is obviously not an exhaustive list. But you can see how with Luke Alexander, they've invaded the high ticket sales and info niches, 39.7, basically 40,000 people that they're able to market to through this one affiliate link that hasn't cost them any money up front. You can imagine how much money it would cost for you to run paid ads to that kind of audience and actually get them to see it. Similarly, with Mr. Race or Rice in the side hustle niche, they targeted 650k people, and they only have to pay after those people actually convert. Then finally with Vince Opera or Oprah, they've targeted 300,000 people in the content agency niche or the video editing niche. So every single asset that these people are creating eventually becomes a marketing tool for Wop as well. And so Wop can leverage these people's funnels for their own gain. Wop doesn't have to do any of the work of attracting those leads because these people build their organic audiences. They don't have to do the work educating those leads because these people create videos about Wop which educate them already. And so all Wop really has to do is convert those leads. But because there's so much trust built through their affiliates, because people know, like, and trust Vince, they're more likely to buy the things that he recommends, then it's a simple sale. So people in all of these micro funnels will go straight to an immediate sign up when they click on the affiliate link, which has zero friction, asks only for their email, and then straight away they get into creating their Wop. And it goes without saying that once those Wops are created and they find any kind of success, then all of that can get recycled back to the top of the funnel, back into the repost that we mentioned earlier, back into the Reels or the YouTube videos. Anyone who finds success on Wop can become a case study. And so in many ways, this educator funnel here is 100% self-sustaining. Wop don't need to leverage paid advertising. Of course they do, and they will need to get to the $1 billion mark or $1 billion valuation as quickly as possible. But you can see how unbelievably effective their organic marketing strategy is. So that was a quick breakdown of exactly how Brett is able to scale Wop to that $1 billion mark. I really hope that was valuable for everyone watching. If you did enjoy, please subscribe, chuck a comment on the video. And of course, if you'd like to work with me, my links are in the description. But regardless, I hope you found this valuable. All right, thanks. Bye.